So this is one of those stories that I think kind of, I know it did. It grew organically, right? Someone goes on Facebook, on one of the groups. I'm going through the Facebook feed. And first of all, I didn't know this was a group. It's called Montrealers Helping Montrealers, which I should have known.
It's a great group.
And posts a story about her. She's living in an apartment, and she gets a text message from her landlord advising her that at the end of her lease, she's going to have to leave because the landlord apparently is going to move his or her daughter into her apartment. Now, you know that legally, technically, that's supposedly the only way that a landlord can, in fact, take over an apartment at the end of a lease, by moving in a family member.
But not by text.
We also know that this sort of thing is done, we've heard anecdotally, on a regular basis, just to get someone out of an apartment. And then that person, after a certain amount of time goes by, there's no relative moving in. It's just a way to get the apartment. But regardless, there are a bunch of questions to ask here. And the reason I bring the Facebook part of it up, the person who posted didn't know what to do and said, can you, the community, help me here? Which is great, because that's what Facebook does. 256 comments on her post, some saying, I can't believe the landlord, but others simply saying, do this, do that, whatever. We thought there are probably a lot of people who are finding themselves or will find themselves in a situation like this. Let's tell you what you do if this is something that happens to you. So, Cedric Dusseault is spokesperson for the Coalition of Housing Committees and Tenant Associations of Quebec, and he is on the line. Cedric, thank you for being here. And let me begin by asking, to Natasha's point, this tenant said she got a text message from her landlord advising her of wanting to move in and take over her apartment. Is that even allowed?
No. When a landlord wants to repossess a dwelling, because that's what we're talking about, this is a repossession, the notice has to be written. First, it has to be written, and it must contain three basic information, which are the date of the projected repossession, the name of the person for whom the landlords want to repossess the dwelling, and the third thing is that the notice must contain a specific passage of the Civil Code concerning the rules on the eviction of an elderly person, because there are exceptions on the eviction of elderly persons. So if this notice does not contain the information, it is not valid.
Okay, and does it still have to be sent out 6 months before the end of your lease and by registered mail?
Yeah, for it's 6 months prior. Yeah, for any lease that are 6 months or over. For shorter leases, it is the timeline is a little bit shorter. But for most leases, it's 6 months prior to the end of the lease. And for most leases in Quebec, we're talking about leases that are ending on June 30th. So we're talking about a notice that shouldn't be sent after December 31st.
So one question, you keep saying most leases. What leases don't fall into that category? Like, which ones wouldn't necessarily have to follow those rules?
Well, if the lease is less than 6 months, then it can be a 1 month notice. So
So the second question, one of the things posed here was, so you get this notice for text. Even if you got it by mail, do you have to answer that notice?
This is what's a little bit tricky. If it is a repossession, and this is the case we're talking about, you don't necessarily have to answer, because if you don't answer, it is as if you would have refused the eviction. Okay. But if we're talking about an eviction, and an eviction is different than a repossession of dwelling. An eviction is when the landlord wants to transform the apartment. For example, he wants to subdivide the apartment into like 2 or 3 other apartments. Okay. If he wants to enlarge significantly the apartment, or if he wants to transform the apartment into something of a commercial nature, in offices, for example. But if it is an eviction of that sort, then you have to answer. And not only you have to answer, you also have to open a case at the Tribunal Administratif du Logement in the month following
days, right?
the notice.
Yeah, you have 30 days.
And that's up to
Exactly.
that's up to the tenant to do?
Exactly. It's up to the tenant to open a case at the Tribunal Administratif du Logement, and this is very tricky, and this is dangerous, and that's we're talking a lot about Bill 31 these days, and this is probably the only thing that is a positive for tenants in Bill 31. It will reverse that, and it will be the same thing as for repossession, as tenants would not necessarily have to answer to an eviction notice.
One of the suggestions made on the Facebook page was you should wait for the rental board to get in touch with you. You do nothing, just wait for that to happen. Is that good advice or bad advice?
For a repossession, I would say yes, it could be good advice in the sense that you do not necessarily have to do something, but whenever you receive a repossession or an eviction notice, the first thing you should do is contact your local housing committee, because it's not because the landlord has followed certain rules or not that you are protected. It's really important to know your rights, to know what to do, and each situation is specific, so it's really important that you get the most information possible at your local housing committee. They can help you answer to the landlord and take the appropriate actions.
And quickly, right? Because as you said, if it is an eviction notice, not a repossession notice, and you're not sure what the difference is, you have 30 days to respond to one of them.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, so this has happened to me twice, where I got served notice once on New Year's Eve with a registered letter, and another time my landlord just came and rang the doorbell and said, hey, by the way. So in the latter, I just refused to acknowledge it. I was like, you can't just come and have this conversation. With the text message, would it be a similar approach? You just refuse to acknowledge it?
Yeah, exactly. In that case, there would be nothing to do, because even though the landlord would want to evict the person, well, if we're talking about right now, if the lease is ending on June 30th, it's too late for the eviction to repossession, to happen this year. So,
and then you get another
basically
full other year.
You don't acknowledge the text message.
Right.
So
and then you literally get a full other year.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question I would ask, in a case where someone is, take eviction, not repossession necessarily, you have room to negotiate with a landlord in an eviction saying, look, if you pay for my moving or whatever, some expenses I have, is that a recommendation? How often does that work?
Well, the thing is, of course, if like the eviction or the repossession is legal, you can negotiate with your landlord. When we're talking about evictions, there is an automatic compensation that the landlord should pay the tenant. It's 3 months rent plus the moving the moving costs.
I got that.
Yeah. So this is like the basic you have to pay to have tenants. What is happening a lot is that when the repossession or the eviction is not necessarily legal, you have landlords that are offering money to the tenants to go away, and this again, you should always contact your housing committee or tenants association, because most of the time what the landlord is doing is illegal, and even though you get offered pretty interesting sum of money, when you consider that there are really not a lot of apartments that are available, and what you're going to find on the market is going to cost you a lot more than what you're currently paying.
Good point.
Even though you're getting a pretty large sum, it's gonna go up the drain pretty fast. So you really should be careful about those types of approach from landlords who offer you to give you amounts of money in order for you to leave your apartment.
Cedric, we're out of time. So if someone is listening to this saying, okay, great information, how do I contact the Housing Committee or Tenant Association? What's the best way?
We have a website, the RCLALQ. You can find us online. And we have on our website, we have a map, and also we have the address and the phone number of all local housing committees and tenants association throughout Quebec.
So the address, I mean, it's it's kind of a mouthful. It's RCLALQ, but is that what you do online?
Yeah, RCLALQ .qc.ca.
Okay.
You should find it easily.
Cedric, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks to you.
There you go, Cedric Dusseault. And again, that's RCLALQ.qc.ca, and they can direct you to where you need to go depending on where you are in the city.
It's important stuff.
Absolutely.